Short title, are you okay with that?
Well, what else are they going to do? Who else is knocking around in the heavyweight division? What other matchup are they going to do? It's difficult to say because Pereira's never fought heavyweight before, so you can definitely win the fight. Could go either way.
Do you have a preference?
Who wins?
Yeah.
I'd like to fight both of them. Both would be fantastic.
Initially, I would have said, I don't want them to waste the Jon Aspinall fight, but I feel like now it will only raise whatever fight you're coming back to.
You better get that money ready.
Tom Aspinall may finally have the heavyweight division moving in the direction he always wanted, but the strange part is that the biggest fight of his career might involve a man who hasn't even fought for the heavyweight title yet. As the UFC White House card continues generating huge attention across the MMA world, there is a growing feeling that Alex Pereira's clash with Ciryl Gane isn't simply another blockbuster fight added to a major event. Instead, it feels like the beginning of something much bigger, and judging by recent comments and the overall mood surrounding the heavyweight division, Aspinall appears to be paying very close attention.
They're fighting for the interim heavyweight title. Haven't you not got the UFC heavyweight champion of the world there? Have you got any plans, Tom, to be there?
No, they've not asked me. No one's asked me yet, so...
How insane is that? I mean, imagine someone fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world and Usyk not being around to talk about it and commentate on it, especially if he's not actually in camp.
Or Fury Magmadov without AJ there, for example.
Exactly. To not have Tom there on that night will be a crime.
Disrespect you?
No, I don't feel disrespected.
Why though? Because you're the champ, Tom.
If they ask me, I'd be there.
But it shouldn't even be quick. He has to be there because these two are fighting to face him. He's the champ. I don't understand how he can't be. There's two fellas fighting for the interim title. The interim title leads to the heavyweight title. He's the heavyweight champion.
Dana White, get Tom Aspinall, please, to the UFC. For a bit of punditry, I do agree with you, Tony, for what it's worth. That you should be there. Just get him there,
I actually would.
I just think he'd have to be there being that
There's no excuses. I would. I'm going to watch it from home anyway, so if you're there, it's going to be even better, isn't it?
I've got to choose my words carefully here, but he just said he's still not clear to fight. But he's been very vague with the details.
Yeah.
Very vague with the details, you know. If I wasn't cleared, because he's got a YouTube channel, he posts content all the time. You'd talk about it, you know, the procedures that he had, the operations, whatever they were. I had a surgery. It was a very, very serious surgery. It's called sclerobuckle. Look it up online. It's gross what they do to the eyeball. I don't know what he had, but he hasn't talked about that. I had that surgery, recovered, came back and had a fight in a shorter amount of time than what it's taken this whole eye poke saga. You know,
it stinks, Michael. It stinks.
I don't say it stinks. I mean, it's as a guy, I know Tom. We used to have a close relationship. We don't talk these days. He was a great guy, but I don't just maybe. I don't know, you look between the lines, there's something fucking weird going on.
After everything he's been through over the last few years, you can hardly blame him. For what felt like an eternity, Aspinall's career was tied to Jon Jones. Every conversation about the heavyweight title somehow led back to Jones. Every discussion about the future of the division revolved around Jones. Every major opportunity seemed dependent on what Jones decided to do next. Then suddenly, the entire situation changed. Jones retired, returned, talked about the White House card, fell out with the UFC, and eventually found himself completely removed from the picture, leaving Aspinall in a position where he could finally focus on building his own legacy rather than waiting for somebody else's decision.
Jon Jones, he was praying that I would lose that fight against Curtis Blades, mate. Praying that I would. Because there is nowhere that you can find publicly him saying that he will fight me. It doesn't exist. The guy's smart. And mate, the guy, we know he's a bit overweight these days. The guy was sat there, mate, with the Cheeto fingers or whatever, with his iPhone in hand, waiting for me to get knocked out so he can start tweeting about it. Let's be honest, since I won that fight, he's gone completely quiet because there's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him.
Interested to see if he wins his next fight. Cause
what's the rumor? Ciryl Gane?
Ciryl Gane, supposedly. There's a video that hasn't gone viral, but one of his losses, he was very much an adult. I believe already a black belt, and he was taken down, and the guy twisted his ankle. He had no defense. He tapped so quickly. There was no. I had a fight where I got arm barred, and I was literally willing to let somebody break my arm before giving up.
This is Vitor Belfort.
Vitor Belfort. With Tom, the moment he felt any pressure on his ankle, he tapped immediately, which lets me know a lot about it.
Interested, and the world shouldn't be interested either, because what's the point? There's just false hope.
Literally a week after you become champion and everything seems to be moving in this direction, Donald Trump announces that they're going to the White House, and like a day later, Jon Jones says, I'm back. And now all the talk is, I'm out of retirement, I'm getting tested. Did you chuckle at all this? Did you like, I mean, literally days after all this goes down, he says, okay, I'm back after all. What do you make of all this?
Oh, mate, it's just boring. It's just so boring. I don't even have a comment on it. It's boring as hell. Don't want to talk about it.
Like you just probably rolled your eyes and moved on, right?
I've already got a fight, so I'm focusing on that. That's the way that I like micromanage things so well mentally, is that like for the next 10 weeks of my life, all I'm thinking about is like Ciryl Gane and how to beat him. Like even what you said about his coach, what you said or didn't say, it doesn't matter because I'm fighting Ciryl and that's all that matters really. No matter what anybody said or done or what's happened in the past is all pretty irrelevant at this point because we're going to fight each other and that's all that really matters.
And I promise this is the only other thing I'll ask about it, but now it's become Jon versus Tom would be the biggest fight ever at the White House, and even Dana has talked about it, that would be the wish list. Is that something that you even think about or use as like that could be a goal, or because of the past year you won't allow yourself to even get too worked up over that?
Do you want me to be honest?
Please.
It has spent 0 seconds in my mind.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not interested, mate. Not interested. And the world shouldn't be interested either because what's the point? This is false hope.
What about just you at the White House? Forget about him. Does that interest you?
Not particularly. It doesn't not interest me, but it doesn't really interest me, to be honest. I'm not really fussed where I fight. I'll fight anyway. It doesn't really bother me. It'd be a cool experience, but I'm not like, I feel like the Americans should get the shot at the White House.
Sure. I'm
not American. Trump and the political stance in America doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm not really like a big Trump supporter, or I'm not against Trump. Like, I don't know anything about American politics. I'm not American. I don't live there. I don't reside there. I don't do anything there apart from pay taxes and fight there. So, really, all of that stuff just is irrelevant to me.
Because while most fans are looking at Pereira versus Gane and trying to predict who wins, Aspinall is probably looking at the fight and seeing two completely different futures. One future involves Alex Pereira continuing his unbelievable rise through the sport and setting up a potential super fight that could become one of the biggest heavyweight events the UFC has promoted in years. The other involves Ciryl Gane re-establishing himself as the most dangerous contender in the division and forcing the heavyweight championship picture into a completely different direction. Either way, Aspinall wants the winner. And honestly, it's difficult to think of a more fascinating situation for the UFC.
He can grapple a little bit, but that's not what he wants to do. He wants to knock and head into the bleachers. I was like, this fucking guy's terrifying. He was just different. Like, the power was different. The style was different. It's a weird style. Hands down, weird movement, like but super technical, man. Like, confusing. Like, you see him, you say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He just hits hard. Negative, incorrect, completely unique style, very technical and very well thought out. He's got solutions to everything. He was showing me and DC how he checks leg kicks, and we had a conversation about it. Can we talk about this? Can we tell people this?
What do you say?
No, me and DC did. Like, I don't know. We decided. I don't think we should tell people.
Yeah.
He's got a special way that he checks leg kicks.
Yep.
Was different than everybody else's. He's got a whole strategy behind it. We were like, oh shit. So he was showing us. So we're at the mothership. Me and DC and Alex Pereira. And Alex Pereira's kicking our legs, and he's showing us how to check. He's showing us how he checks and what he does to follow up check. He's got a system. His hands are as big as a fucking watermelon.
Really?
His hands are giant, man. He's got this weird frame. Dudes with big hands have crazy power. Like Tony Ferguson has big ass hands. And if you look at Pereira, he's like this long arms, these big giant fucking hammers at the end of his wrists. He's different, man.
Talk to me about Ciryl Gane, Alex Pereira.
First of all, Alex Pereira is an absolute generational talent. If he wins this fight, even though it's an interim title, it'll be the first person ever to win 3 different weights, which is unbelievable. He carries a lot of power at light, heavy and middle, but he's also fighting a lot smaller guys. A big factor of why he's knocking these guys out is because he's a lot bigger than him. Ciryl Gane is a massive heavyweight who moves a lot. So stylistically, I think it's a good matchup for Gane.
That's where you're going.
I would say Gane by points. I want revenge, of course.
It's going to be stand-up war. Ain't nobody doing any shot.
Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane.
Alex Pereira is a big boy. I just saw him in Seattle. I mean, I saw him jump on the scale, 242, Drama. Obviously, Ciryl Gane has great movement. You saw what he did to Tom Aspinall. He was popping in with the jab. You know, Alex Pereira does have that calf kick that he loves to throw every single time to stop everybody's movement. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how Ciryl Gane does with the pressure that Alex Pereira brings. It's going to be stand-up war. Ain't nobody doing a shot.
What do you make of Alex Pereira talking about becoming a 3 divisions, trying to take that belt from you? Would you entertain that?
But listen to this, right? We're in New York. We obviously fought on the same card, me and him. Never met him before, never. Quite frosty when I met him. And I don't know him personally. I didn't know if he was just like that. We did the press conference. We sat next to each other. He was literally, I was here, he was there. Got off the press conference, and my dad said, "Oh, like, how was it?" I said, "Do you know Alex Pereira?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "He thinks he can beat me, you know." And my dad was like, "What do you mean?" I don't know, I can just tell. Mate, he wasn't posturing, he wasn't like trying to intimidate me or nothing. I just felt like he had in his mind, maybe I'm just making it up, I have no idea, but I've never done it with anyone before, and I'm not like that insecure guy being like, he's trying to fight me. I'm not like that at all. When I heard that he wants to move up to heavyweight, I wasn't surprised. I felt like he was like sizing me up a little bit.
If Pereira gets past Gane, the hype surrounding a fight with Aspinall would be absolutely enormous. You would have one of the most accomplished strikers in combat sports history attempting to complete one of the wildest career journeys we've ever seen by challenging the heavyweight champion of the world. The promotional material practically writes itself. The debates would be endless. Fans would spend months arguing about whether Pereira's power could overcome Aspinall's speed, wrestling, size, and overall skill set. More importantly, it would feel like a genuine super fight at a time when many fans believe the UFC desperately needs more of them. But there's a problem. Ciryl Gane still exists, and despite the amount of attention Pereira receives, there are plenty of intelligent people within MMA who believe Gane may be one of the most difficult stylistic matchups available. Tom Aspinall himself has previously spoken about Gane's movement and how unusual he is compared to most heavyweights, which is exactly why the outcome of this fight feels so difficult to predict.
It's going to be an interesting fight though. I think Alex Pereira is very tough. He's big enough. He's a heavyweight, but in this scenario, the position shifted a little bit because Ciryl Gane here come more with a strategy of a lighter person because he moves a lot, he's fast and this. And I think Alex Pereira will be like more stiff, stable and strong, solid. Ciryl will be more fast, moving around as is his technique. He's good at that. And then it's going to be very difficult to Alex Pereira to even get close to the distance to figure out what he can do to close that distance, which Ciryl will be managing very good to keep the distance, pick apart, get him frustrated. He's good at that. So I think he's a very good matchup for Ciryl.
Gane isn't the type of fighter who willingly walks into dangerous exchanges. He forces opponents to think. He forces them to reset. He forces them to solve problems throughout the fight rather than simply relying on power and aggression. That's why so many people are overlooking what could happen if Gane wins. The moment Pereira's hand isn't raised, the entire heavyweight division changes overnight. Suddenly, all the conversations about Aspinall versus Pereira disappear and are replaced by questions surrounding a potential rematch between Aspinall and Gane. Despite Aspinall already holding a victory over him, championship rematches always carry a different feeling because fighters evolve, circumstances change, and pressure creates entirely new situations.
Eddie should want fighters to earn as much money as possible, right? Do you remember that? It was like, you know, he should be happy for Conor Benn that he's making more money. So I've been thinking about that line, and I think that I've got an idea. I would like Dana White to release Tom Aspinall from his UFC contract. And I will guarantee Dana White, in writing, that I will pay Tom Aspinall a minimum, probably 5 times more, but a minimum of 3 times more what Dana White is paying him. And I think for a hard-working, working-class man that deserves every penny he can get because of what he puts his body through, and we've seen that recently, that Dana White should be happy for Tom Aspinall to receive that deal. So I would like to propose that. I would like to propose that Dana White should be happy for Tom Aspinall, who is extremely unhappy. And he should release him of his obligations with the UFC and allow him to go out and make considerably more for himself and his family, because that's what Dana White's all about, isn't it? You know, he'd be happy for Tom. So that's what I would like.
Is that a serious offer? Like, you would bring him over to Matchroom and let him fight under a boxing banner as opposed to an MMA?
Look, not even a boxing banner. I mean, listen, the situation with Tom is, and he is under contract with the UFC, but unfortunately for him, he has signed a contract which is one of the worst, most grossly underpaid athletes I've ever seen. in the commercial world of sport. Okay? So I think it's only fair, because Dana likes to see fighters, get their opportunity and make as much money as possible, like he said, that he should actually allow Tom to do so. Because it's just not, it's just unacceptable. And I've been quite quiet on that whole thing. And there'll be a lot more coming from me on that kind of stuff. But I've got to be honest with you, I'm looking at this kid, Tom Aspinall. I'm looking what combat sports athletes are making around the world. And I'll be honest with you, it's absolutely disgusting what they're paying him.
That Dana White thought that he should have been awarded the victory. Ciryl Gane, coming off of this, losing the fight but winning the decision, went into a title fight against Tom, which is what is leading him to the doors of the White House now. All opportunities that in theory could have gone to Volkov. So for Volkov to speak up and find a way to insert himself, that's great. I appreciate it. Volkov telling us what's happening was strange to me. It was strange that Volkov was promoting a fight, saying it is not a real title fight. That if Pereira wins, there's a story there because he gets a third belt, in a third different weight class. And if Ciryl wins, he gets the belt because they're fighting over it, but it still leads him to Tom. Like, you're kind of just looking around and going, yeah, Volkov, I know that. Do you have anything to add? Do you have anything at all as a heavyweight in this division to add for me? Do you know some training footage? Have you heard how Ciryl's been looking in the room? Do you know what Pereira is going to weigh? He's going to come in at an all-time high. Is that weight going to help him or hurt him? Share with us as a fellow tall, long, and lanky heavyweight who favors striking. What should we expect from Pereira? A long, lanky heavyweight who favors striking. Where do you see yourself? You just said that the winner of this fight, which is not a real fight, goes against Tom. So now you've taken your own opportunity in your own division and you've kicked the can to roughly 2027. You just said that whoever wins this fight, even though it's not a true championship, is the one that will then get to go and fight for the true championship. I would only offer for you. What did you get out of that? You certainly didn't make any friends. That's fine. This is the fight business. We don't have to make friends. But you certainly didn't make any friends. You said that the UFC's product was poor. You said that Alex or Ciryl, whoever wins, doesn't actually win anything.
The deeper you look into the heavyweight division, the more it feels like everything is connected to this one fight. A Pereira victory potentially creates a global superstar versus heavyweight champion mega fight. A Gane victory throws the title picture into a completely different direction. That's why the UFC White House Card has become such a huge talking point throughout the MMA community. Beneath all the excitement sits a fight with the potential to reshape the future of the division for years, influencing who Aspinall faces next, determining whether Pereira's heavyweight ambitions continue growing, and deciding whether Gane can finally place himself back at the very center of the championship conversation.
Did he feel and look like a heavyweight when you stood opposite him?
Yeah, he looked really like an heavyweight, and he's not a surprise because that's really interesting what I say, guys. Listen, we did already a face-off there 2 or 3 years ago. He came to France in Paris in RS. It was a pleasure to have him, and I knew already it's going to be big. He was already big, and the real question is how he did to make the weight for the middleweight. This is the real question.
Ciryl, do you feel that Alex Pereira is a tougher fight for you than Tom Aspinall was?
Completely different fight. Like Alex Pereira is a beautiful striker, one of the best in the UFC. I think Tom Aspinall is more well-rounded with a different skill. It's going to be completely different. Like I fought already some huge guy, huge champion, but it's going to be completely different than Tom.
At the same time, another storyline continues quietly growing in the background: money. Because while Aspinall remains loyal to the UFC, there has been increasing discussion surrounding the opportunities that could potentially exist outside of mixed martial arts. Eddie Hearn and others have repeatedly spoken about the earning potential available in boxing, and when fans hear those conversations, they naturally begin asking questions. What happens if Aspinall becomes frustrated again? What happens if the biggest fights don't materialize? What happens if somebody offers him the type of money that completely changes the equation? Nobody is suggesting he's leaving tomorrow, but the fact those conversations even exist tells you how unusual the current situation has become. For years, the UFC heavyweight division felt trapped in limbo. Now it feels like multiple career-defining fights could emerge at any moment, and that's exactly why Aspinall appears so invested in what happens next. After years of waiting, years of uncertainty, and years of watching the division revolve around somebody else, he can finally see a path toward the type of fights that define an entire career. The only question is whether that path eventually leads toward Alex Pereira, Ciryl Gane, and if the heavyweight division has taught us anything over the last few years, it's that the twists are usually what end up changing everything.